This is Westman on the Westman Harp Channel. Today I wanted to talk about a thing that made a lot of the 60s blues guitarists like T-Bone Walker and B.B. King and all the other Kings, Freddie King, Albert King. A lot of them used mixing major and minor pentatonic modes. Although they usually didn't think about it that's like that so much, they think about it more like using a phrase. They'd have that phrase, and then that was just a part of their language, musical language. Where a lot of guitarists and people these days they'll think about it as for terms of like more like a this is my pentatonic box for major, and this is my pentatonic box for minor, and then try to mix them together. Where the earlier '60s players, they were just kind of just doing a phrase and grooving. Although probably a lot of them could think in that context, like we do today. It's just it was more of a down home blues type thing. Uh, so when I was memorizing all the blues scales, I memorized the major and minor pentatonics together. And a lot of times I use the song Spoonful as a reference point, and I'll throw in the going from minor third to major third. Da, da. So da, 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 minor, major. Where that's something like T-Bone Walker and all the old '60s blues players. They use that riff a lot, where you play the minor third to a major third, and that's just a very iconic blues riff. And a lot of riffs are just made around just that. Um, but here's how you play the G minor pentatonic. I'm going to teach the G major as well, but first I'm going to do the G minor. So you blow on 3. Third hole, you blow on that, and that's the G, the root note. Then you draw on 3 as well, but you press the slider in when you draw. And that's the minor third I was talking about. So then the third note is you blow on the 5th hole. The 4th note, you also draw on the same hole, the 5th hole. So blow on 5, draw on 5, then you draw on 6. And to complete the octave, you blow on 7, which is the same note as the third, or I mean the third hole. Anyway. So here's how all that sounds together. And then the major scale starts on the same note. Because we're in the key of G, it's the third blowhole. But instead of doing the draw with the slide in, we're doing it without the slide in, which would be the second in the Western scale. So blow on 3, draw on the third hole. Then you draw on the 4th hole, fourth hole. Draw on the fourth hole. Then you draw on the fifth hole. Then you blow on the sixth hole. So the sixth hole is actually a E note, which I might mention it that the G major pentatonic scale is actually the same as the E minor pentatonic scale, which I did a video on trills, which illustrates that. And here's how the G major scale sounds. And here's it with the octave. All right, and here's me just mixing them together to give you an idea what I'm talking about overall. I did it a little bit on the guitar, but it's a little bit different on doing it on the chromatic harmonica, of course. You know. So here's an example using about 4 or 5 notes of the minor, and then I'll switch straight to the major. So you can have like little short. Think of it like you're just gonna have just a handful of notes, and then you're gonna switch from major to minor. You can do it pretty quickly. You can even do about 3 notes. You know. You can go from minor to major and major to minor. Or you can do very long, elaborate things where like I'm gonna stay in major for a little while, and then I'm gonna go to minor, or I'm gonna do it on this certain chord. A lot of it depends on the context you're in too, because sometimes a lot of times it's easier to play on a major. Do the blues in a major thing, or maybe a funky James Brown 9 chord. Anything that's really major is going to go a lot better than a minor. It's really hard to do a minor type thing and do this. It's hard to put a major pentatonic over a minor chord, but as far as like major goes, it's easy to get that happy-go-lucky Allman Brothers sound over a major chord, and also mix in the minor. But also I wanted to note that like I mentioned before, B.B. King, I think he's the most prominent one. When I listen to him, I hear all that major minor blending stuff going all over the place, and also Cream Eric Clapton, where he picked that up from a lot of the '60s guitarists, especially B.B. King, and and also a tidbit of information is or history. It'd be a Spoonful. It was one of Eddie Van Halen's favorite songs. You know, he passed away recently. But, kind of makes me think about things as so a lot of people really loved Eric Clapton and the way he'd pull the how he'd pull out the all these cool old '60s riffs and just blend them together. But yeah. Anyway, that's about it. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, like and subscribe.